So now we need a wet map, or we are able to create a wet map for a table here. Remember, we add that in Maya, and you need to have it UV layouted, because without a UV layout you cannot properly project the texture. And the UV layout is exported from Maya to realflow using the SD file format. The SD file format is fully capable of taking into account UV maps and textures. Alright, back to realflow. There's a texture. I say wet dry texture. You have to make sure you're on the table tab here, no parameters, and open the texture tab. Wet dry texture, yes. Resolution, I think 1024 should do an archive filter loops. Let's say something like 4. Leave that pretty much as default. This is the grayscales, so we have 265 grayscales because this is grayscale texture. With 256 gray steps that are possible. We have, let's turn on a bit of aging, because this will simulate the the effect of stuff getting dry again. And in order to make sure, and let's do more filter strength, something like 0.5. In order to make sure that we'll be seeing a wet map and that something will be written, we need to we need to open the export central. So press F12 on your keyboard, and there's look for the textures pane. There's our object. Oh, turn off BDC. Nobody needs that. I'm always asking why people would need the BDC. Maybe there'll be a day coming where I say, oh, the BDC, it's so great, but haven't thought that yet. Okay, the wet map texture. Objects, there you see a table object, the very same object that you highlighted here, the table object. Turn that on. Switch off animation SD because you don't need an animation, but we need a wet map texture. Here you can choose which format that wet map texture will have. TGA, I set that to TIFF because most applications are very good with TIFFs. Double click on that, then right arrow / wet map. What this will do, it will create in your images path a scene directory, a realflow scene directory. Here in my case it's realflow wet maps QA, and this has a subfolder called images. And now there will be another subfolder created called wet map. And all the files that are created per frame are put into wet map. So this makes it easier for me to distinguish between other files that are probably running into images. For example, if I intended to write out an image sequence, this will also go into the images. And you know, with sequences, if you don't have a dedicated sequence browser, it's always the problem that these are loads of files messing up the whole screen with information. So just make sure to order your files a bit. Then on the file name options, also change this strange stuff to this stuff, because this is the way Maya needs that. And say 4, because Maya has a problem when there are texture sequences written in a different format, and we do not want to go through file renaming afterwards. So I can probably increase my resolution a bit. Say 1000, yeah. Let's do something real great. Save a project and simulate. Save the project, but make sure speed is 2 again, and add a little bit of randomness, because without randomness everything's looking boring. And there we go. There's some water. I'll be back in a sec with the final scene. So now we are back again with the wet map, and what we can see is that water has spilled and has been going over the table. And now, if I get closer, pushing the wrong button. You see the grey shades here on the table, and this is the way the water has been traveling over. Also, you see that here because there were drops and there's one there. And if I play it back, you can see water goes out, gets in touch with the table. And you can see how the wet map's moving with the water. Alright, and you see that, and now we go back into Maya and I'll show you an example how I put that in. So now back in Maya, you can clearly see the wet map on the table. I put a wooden texture on the table. So there you see those lighter areas, those light brown areas, and there are the dark brown areas. And these areas exactly match what we saw on the wet map, because the way I did that was in the attribute editor. I just added the file and put a texture sequence in it. I copied the table TGA texture from realflow to the source images folder in my Maya to I hooked on use image sequence, and it will use an image sequence as you can see here. Sometimes the viewport does not update properly, but you can see the texture sample that will be used. And finally everything was rendered out. I was using Maxwell rendering, and I'm going to show you the final rendering in a sec. Oh, I'll first show you the hypershape setup. There is the file texture, and there's the file texture for the surface, and I put that into one of the art color layers, and the layer top of this, in order to control the color there in the Maxwell material. But if you're using any other renderer, you can probably do likewise, or put it into the specular channel, something like this. Alright, and then the final rendering.